Today we mark World Holocaust Memorial Day. And as we think back to those events of the 1930s and 40s, and all those people who so tragically and barbarically lost their lives, their livelihoods, their sense of dignity and worth at the hands of oppressive regimes around the world, we remember and stand with those for whom the scars of those events still run deep, and for whom this will never simply be just the marking of events one day a year. People who live with the consequences of those atrocities and many others that have happened around the world since then. We remember that we always need to be vigilant and on our guard against extremism and against regimes around the world who would seek to devalue human life simply because it is different to their own way of understanding or their own world view. We acknowledge that at times those regimes and places who oppress others can be sources that are unlikely. That in the same way that in a schoolyard, those who bully have often themselves been bullied. The fact that people groups in the past have been victims doesn't mean that they are immune from becoming oppressors themselves. We hold delicately and at times difficultly the tension of that truth within the Middle East today. And whilst we stand with those who have survived the Holocaust and those members of families who live with the scars of that day, we also stand in solidarity with those who are victims today in the Middle East, ordinary civilians who have lost their lives because they do not fit in the worldview or the model of the Middle East that many around the world think is the way it should be. We acknowledge that we have not always got things right. As a nation, certainly. As individuals, almost certainly. We could do more. We could do more to stand with the marginalised, to stand with the broken, to be a voice for those who have no voice, to press for change within our own country. And it's easy, isn't it, to look around the world and to point our fingers almost self-righteously, a little bit smugly at other places in the world and to say, oh, thank goodness that it's not like that here. But all of these conflicts come from the unresolved conflicts of interest within our own human hearts. And so we each need to take a long look inside to confront our own prejudices and our own privileges and to make a stand, to be different, to live differently, and to stand up for what we believe is right. As the famous saying goes, all it takes for evil to flourish is for good people to be silent. And so I pray that as we remember the events of the Holocaust and those many millions of people who lost their lives, and as we reflect on conflicts around the world since then and even today, that we would not be silent and we would learn the lessons of those days to take a stand against the injustices of today, no matter where they might come from. Thank you.